This lady told me I left the store. She said, "Have an amazing day," and I just felt like that was a lot of pressure. I was gonna go home and just eat these potato chips.
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I could put a funny beginning here, but it would never do anything whatsoever to the episode you're about to listen to. So fuck it. Let's get this show on the road.
That's right.
The legend is back.
That's right, folks. We've got
the beard.
Welcome back, Mr. Sean Ireland. How the hell's it going there, buddy? That's right.
So, we don't need to do bows and we don't need to do roses at the feet right now, guys.
It doesn't
just
count
a
if
quick
you say not
snap
to
of
afterwards.
Pennsylvania.
That's right.
Just a quick I wish I could snap every DC movie out of fucking existence. That's what I wish.
I've been excited for you coming on, and all you're doing is attacking me now.
You're a DC guy?
I'm a DC guy. Yeah.
What about Shazam? It did good. It did well.
I haven't seen it, so I couldn't really comment.
Same.
I wasn't excited about it. I wasn't like, ooh, but haven't seen it, so I can't really.
What I will say, just to get it out there, even though I'm a DC guy, and I disagree with everyone about BVS, the rest of it is painful shit. So I'm on board with you there.
Okay, so
Suicide Squad, awful.
I mean, it's okay to admit you like a turd. Just be like,
all right, so look,
I know it's a turd, but I dig it.
it's my turd.
Yeah,
it's like
there you
it's
go.
like the smell
It
of
is
your
my
own
turd.
fart.
It's my
right?
turd.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't smell
It's
your own
brand.
farts.
I actually saw someone try to do the smelt it dealt it theory on racism today. If you call someone a racist, you're a racist. And I was like, that's the smelt it dealt it fucking argument. And this dude said, you go come back with whoever denied it supplied it retort. It's like racism was just shitting your pants and blaming it on someone else.
God.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, everybody.
That's right.
God.
4th of July episode right here. You're going to get some real fireworks.
Whoa.
So yeah, DC, obviously the Chris Nolan Batmans are fantastic.
Well, right, but you're talking about DC afterwards.
Sure. I didn't hate Man of Steel. Well, I thought there was obviously, I'm not a fan
Problems
of,
with it, but
yeah, sure,
I liked
sure,
it, yeah.
yeah, sure. Batman versus Superman, I don't like how they threw in the Doomsday part of it. I think that
I'm with you there.
I think
Unnecessary.
and that's a whole movie in and of itself that could have crushed.
What about Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman was a solid flick. You know what I mean?
I liked it.
I don't know what it says. I forgot about Wonder Woman. It's so good. It's not,
I think it says a lot about your misogyny.
I
I
didn't-
think it thinks a lot about.
I'm not a misogynist. I saw Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I sat through Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
Yeah, holding a Gillette razor.
And then Justice League, I just feel it's rushed. All of the stuff is rushed. They're trying to catch
Yeah.
up to Marvel, and what Marvel did in 10 years, they're trying to do in 5 years, which is kind of silly.
And it shows. I mean, that
does show.
I think everybody
Yeah.
sees that.
Suicide Squad, I think, was more of an editing mess than anything else.
That's what Casey.
They let
sure.
a trailer company edit that movie.
Casey has
yes.
often said that. On this,
there's
on
the
this show.
simple formula, really, which is, before you open the title sequence, you do the origin of the villain, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And then you do background of your hero, and then, so on from there.
Yeah.
And just the first, the missed pacing of how they introduce the Suicide Squad people, you give somebody 20 minutes and you give someone else 30 seconds, that's just kind of odd to me.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't really set anything up pre-credit, and I feel like if you gave the same footage to someone who was capable, they could maybe edit that into a decent
Well, apparently
movie,
there's
to
a
be
lot of
honest.
people who saw David Ayers was the one that directed that movie. And apparently people saw director's cut and they were like, all the reviews were, this movie's fucking phenomenal. And then those people went and saw it in theaters and was like,
What the fuck
What
happened?
happened?
Yeah.
The movie was great. I don't know what happened.
The thing that baffled me with that is because it is such a mess. Suicide Squad is awful, but the idea that even though every actor wants to be in like a comic book franchise now, that right off the bat, Jared Leto, Margot Robbie, and Will Smith, all three signed on for this film, and that Tom Hardy himself was upset that he couldn't do it originally. Like, those are 4 people that are picky.
Yeah.
So whatever we saw is not the thing that made them go, fuck, I'm in.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, dude, when you were talking about Aquaman, the thing you said right before we started recording about, like I was considering seeing it, and then a friend of mine went and saw it, our beloved friend Eric Stam, and he goes, I said, dude, so, how was it? And he said the exact fucking thing you said. He goes, dude, there's a scene where this fucking octopus is like playing the drums, and like I knew right then. I was like, I've seen this fucking
It was
movie.
Pitbull.
Dude.
Yeah, Culo! Just the Culo all over the place.
Worldwide Incorporated.
Yeah, it was like Pitbull in all 8 of his jobs. It was just fucking throwing into people's faces. Permission to come aboard. Like,
it was
bro,
weird.
nah.
And it started off with Billy McFarlane on a jet ski on top of the ocean, and it just hands down.
Dude.
I mean, we all saw them trying to keep up with Marvel, but those previews alone, I wanted to see it. Again, I am a DC boy, but all the Momoas like permission to come aboard. Like you just said, no, please stop. You're not Spider-Man.
When he jumps out of the plane, he's like, redheads, am I right? It's like, no, you're not fucking right, you idiot. Get out of this plane.
Yeah, redheads always kill themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Redheads jumping out of planes without parachutes.
How many redheads have you seen not jump out of the plane?
Now, Sean, you've had a whole, since the last time you were on, you've had many adventures.
Sure.
Many, including Bonnaroo recently.
Oh, yes.
What would you like to talk about? I know you've got a lot of things to say.
Well, I mean, we could talk about Bonnaroo, I guess. I like to get the good out first. So obviously, like in my opinion, if you live in Tennessee, you should go to Bonnaroo. Like you should at least go one time. You know what I mean? So you can at least talk the shit. I'm going to talk about it. But it is, Bonnaroo. It's you can't deny Bonnaroo's contribution to modern day festival, good or bad. I mean, Bonnaroo and Coachella and Ultra are basically reasons we have all this other stuff going on right now.
100%.
So in that aspect of it, obviously, you respect all the work that's done and everything. It's kind of just a little, when you get there now, I think I went like 15 years ago when it was what it was, quote unquote, and all that shit. When you could buy a grilled cheese for $1, fucking all this
neighborhood
shit.
used to be safe.
Yeah, right. And so going back again, now that there's larger companies involved, you kind of start to feel, that it's a little, oversold,
maybe corporatized a little bit.
Sure, and it's more profit driven, I guess.
When they start putting the porta potties with an actual hand washing station inside it, you're like, God damn it.
Well, so
Bonnaroo's going corporate.
The first thing that you kind of notice about Bonnaroo, other than when you're buying your tickets or prices increasing and all that kind of stuff, the lineups are huge and ridiculous. But the first thing, obviously, is getting there. So, it takes. We got media passes and staff passes, and it takes 4 or 5 hours to get in there, and that's not Bonnaroo's fault, except for maybe you could say they're overselling it by a couple thousand, but state police are like closing down the interstate and shit, and it's like you're not really doing us any favors here, man. Like
Jesus, dude.
And you're also talking about it's that interstate also has Nashville traffic in and out of it coming too all the time and stuff. So
where is it? Manchester?
Yeah. So. If I got friends who have their brothers and sisters and whoever coming through and telling me like on Thursday that it's taking 10 hours to get in, and it's just like you're letting people in now on Wednesdays and Thursdays early, and then Friday, and you're pushing this thing into 5 days now, and it just, to me, it's like if it's too big to fail, it's too big. It's too fucking big. And that's kind of how I feel when like companies like Live Nation and stuff get involved in these things, where it's like anytime a company that big gets involved in something, they fucking destroy it. It doesn't matter if it's cable television or the internet or cell phones or music festivals.
Absolutely.
They're gonna fucking destroy it. So I feel like there's a lot of problems could be alleviated if you just put that festival back down to 3 days and sell 10,000 less tickets.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And just to make it easier, but they're not going to do that. So the traffic is the first thing you notice. Now, we took RVs this year, and we had handicap passes for our RVs.
Yeah.
So obviously
you had every possible advantage.
That's the other thing I kind of want to stress to people is that like I went for fucking free. Right, I live 2 hours away. The weather was the best they've ever had, and we have a staff and media passes with handicap RV parking. And by the end of it, I'm just like, holy shit, this is fucking just, it's just HFS, man. So
that was every possible convenience.
And it's still like, I don't know how y'all motherfuckers do this. Like you said, every possible advantage going our way, and I'm like, I can't do this, man. I can't fucking do it.
God.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting pussified. I don't really know.
I remember when everybody came back. Like I think I was at the pub. I might have even seen you that night, but I was at the pub one night. Dave Spears was there, and I was talking to Shauna and a bunch of people, and like everybody had just returned from Bonnaroo, and the one big thing, like everybody's, hey dude, how was it? How was it? How was it? And the one thing everybody said was like, well, the weather was good,
right? And that shouldn't be the barometer of anything,
like,
right?
Yeah, that was the first. They were like, oh, there's one breakout performance. A lot of people said Gojira was sort of the breakout.
Gambino had a really, really good.
Gambino was really good, and I heard Post Malone, Dave Spears, I said Post Malone was really good. Whatever, but it was one of these where like nobody just went, oh, dude, it's mind blowing. Like I can't. They were just, well, it didn't rain.
Yeah,
it was 40 at night.
Yeah. So we all get in there and get our stuff set up. I mean, like I said, we were ready to get in. We were at the Walmart right across the street at about 4:30 or 5 o'clock, picking up the last of our tickets. And we didn't get into our handicap RV parking right behind the what stage, I think, or the other stage. I'm sorry, the other stage. Until it was like 9:15.
My God.
Know? So me, like, you know how calm I am all the time.
Of course.
So like we're trying to go in the back way, and I'm like, hey, they told us we could go in this back way for media and artists and all this stuff, and we got this and this and this, and we have our RV passes on our phone, and the guy's like, I don't have a scanner for those. And I'm like, cool, like you can read the screen and you can see that.
Yeah, let's talk about
here's
eyeballs.
my ID. Yeah, here's my ID. Here's my RV pass. Like, I got to scan it, man. All right, well, if you can't scan it, how can we get in here? He's like, well, you can go get a printed RV pass at this high school. Pull out the phone. This high school is like 6 miles away.
You can go find Karen. She has a scanner and then bring it to me. That'd be great.
So we're all like, fuck it. No problem. We'll go get this. We'll come right back to here. We'll get right in.
Oh man, this is already.
This and in the back of my head, I'm like, this isn't the 30th time I've heard this from one of my buddies. You know, like I do this every single fucking weekend almost. Like it's not gonna be just like that.
No, of course not.
So we go. I'm already laughing. I'm like, fuck it, give me a drink. Like I'm already cracking beers open, just laughing about it.
Headed to some
mad laughing, like ha ha ha, like this is gonna be great. We go to the high school and walk in there. 20, 30 minutes go by and they walk back out and they're like, they don't have printed out RV passes here. And I was like, of course they don't. Where are they? And they're like, they said they're just like at the main front gate. And I was like, we're gonna have to go through the main front gate, like with all this access. Like, what was the point of having all this access? We had to sit in this big line. So we
coming out here to this high school.
So we see this line of cars down the interstate. I mean, it's 3 miles long on the interstate of just single file getting off on one exit, back one road to go to one main entrance, which, I mean, again, the only blame can just be the popularity of it has grown so much that it's outgrown the infrastructure. Like you can't really expect them to build freaking 3-lane roads, you know, so that's nobody's real fault. It's just kind of a thing that has to happen. So we're like, you know, our kind of group of friends and kind of, I don't know, I guess just the whole kind of point of our lives is like, if everybody's going that way, I'm going that way. I'm not going the same way everybody else is going. Yeah. That's stupid. Like that's silly. So we go the opposite way and start following these orange signs that are like VIP, all this kind of stuff. We basically just circumvented the whole grounds and came in the back way. And we finally get in and go inside. And the first night, you know, is great. Like everything in there, all the trees are all lit up and like the ambiance is great. And we stayed at the other stage with all the electronic music, all the guys I knew were playing. Yeah. And it was a great time, you know. And then it's like 40 degrees at night, which is kind of, you know, weird for being out there. And have you guys have all been to Bonnaroo? Yeah,
I have not. I have not.
Oh, none of
We're
us
all
have?
lame.
Oh, holy shit! Well, it's apparently ordinarily it's like 100 fucking degrees out there. Yeah, right? And it was like 49 degrees,
and often pretty muddy. Like so if it rains,
if I can be completely honest, I enjoy camping, but when I hear stories about people going out there, and I'm like, oh, so like you went to Bonnaroo and like, you know, and they're like, yeah, you just like set up a tent and like you dig a hole to shit in. I'm like, fuck that, like fuck that right away. I'm not gonna go spend 3 nights or surrounded by, you know, a bunch of drunk people and drugs and all this other shit, and then to go dig a hole to shit in. Like, give me at least running water.
They have they have porta potties. They actually, it's gotten so big they have actually solid buildings inside with that have like 200 urinals and like all kinds of shit or whatever.
It's gotten a lot less.
But I will say that again. Now look, I went to the last Woodstock they had. So when you're talking about, you know, crisis of a lack of resources, like that's probably the pinnacle of that. So I'm not saying that Bonnaroo is on this level, but by the end of Thursday night, which now is not everybody's there Thursday.
Yeah.
By the end of the first night, I mean, every single porta potty I opened was overflowing.
Just destroyed.
I mean, unbelievable. And I was like, man, like already, like what's this place going to look like on Sunday?
Dude.
And I know that they have festival crews that get paid to pick stuff up. Like I know that, but man, like savages just eat it, drink it, throw it on the ground. And it's like, I know you guys clean this shit up, but that doesn't mean I want to walk through it all day.
No shit.
You know? So it was just a real mess. I mean, a couple gay people asked, I was like, where is a trash can? They're like, just throw it on the ground. And I was like, Pappy Roo, fucking high five, let's fucking litter. Like, shit. So, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not that dude that's just like, I'm paying for people to clean it up. Like, that's not a reason to trash
There's a lot of people
place.
I've heard a lot of people talk about Muddy Roots, and they talk about it they compare it to Bonnaroo in terms of, like, how clean it is. And, like, there's this big, like, culture, possibly like Burning Man. I've never been to Burning Man either, but where people clean up after themselves. And there's sort of this, like, whole thing where
Forest is a lot like that. Yeah. So, like, there's people walking around Electric Forest with, like, those little, like, sticker things.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll just set an empty beer on the ground or an empty water on the ground with all intentions of throwing it away, and 5 minutes later, some dude's sticking it and picking it up.
It's gone, yeah.
They weren't really doing that at Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo does have, like I said, the lighting that they have all set up around the place in the trees is really nice.
Yeah, that looked awesome.
They have that big fountain thing in the middle, in the center. That's really cool. Basic kind of tents. I don't know how many festivals you guys have gone to, but like any kind of like bass or like DJ tent, it's just the same basic kind of big white tent, you know. I didn't think the stages were too terribly creative or imaginative. I mean, they're like kind of like built in like these barn things or whatever. But I noticed like all the LED setups were all the same. Like big one in the middle, two on the side. Kind of, you know. Obviously they bring in a rig for Fish,
of course.
Or when like certain people play, like Elenium plays, they got to bring in his drums and like shit like that. So minor changes like that, but like I didn't notice any like crazy, insane like pyro stuff coming off of the tops. Now there's that Calliope late night stage, which this is fucking hilarious. So I was like, man, Bonnaroo's kind of expensive this year and shit. And then I walk over to this Calliope stage on Thursday night and witness like a 5-minute constant stream of like 20 just flamethrowers. And I'm sitting there in my head because I know what it costs to do a pyro blast at like a festival.
Yeah.
The guys I shoot, they're like, hey, one of the things you ask the stage guy, hey, how many pops do I have? How much smoke do I have? How much pyro do I have? And they'll tell you got a 30-second blast of pyro and this and this. And the shit costs like thousands of dollars by the end of it if you're doing minute-long pyro blasts and fireworks. So I'm watching this shit go off, and in my brain, it's just like money just rolling. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Like, this is where all of your fucking money goes. This dude on this stage, this pyro guy, has a giant red button, and he's just passed out on it. Just flaming shit non-fucking stop. It was impressive. I was like, all right, man.
Some dudes in the crowd had Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah, like, I can fuck with this stage.
Fucking Quest for Fire,
There was a weird medical thing the first night out there, though. Some dude just like, this is also, getting in, being frustrating, and fucking just kind of figuring everything out or whatever. And we're finally like down here and finally partying. And like the guy, 2 people in front of me just passes out and starts fishing out. And I'm like, cool. This guy's going to die right in front of me. I've been here for 2 hours. They cleared a path and had to stop all the music and shit. And it took them a while to get somebody in there, but apparently he popped back up and he was perfectly fine after like the people were like screaming and like giving him CPR and shit. And I was like, I'm going to bed. I'm done. I was like, thanks, buddy. Thanks, asshole. You ruined my good time by almost dying, you piece of shit. I hate when that happens.
God.
Tell you what a special kind of fucking torture would just be to be eternally stuck in the bottleneck of the what stage at Bonnaroo to get back on topic. So this fucking main stage, this is something I've actually I've put this question out there to people who fucking love Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, yeah, that's a huge fucking issue, So what it is the main stage is called What? And it's this giant field. I'm assuming they can fit 60, 70,000 people in it.
Right.
Now, it wasn't full the entire time I was there. But for Post Malone, there's probably 50,000 people there easily, know?
Right.
So the 2 ways to get out of that stage are to leave the festival straight behind you and go into the campground, which no one's leaving the festival at 11 p.m. They're going to see all the other shit. Or you go deeper into the festival through this bottleneck that I would be shocked if the bottleneck was wider than this room.
Oh, my God.
I'm not shitting you. Like, you're talking 30 feet, 40 feet wide, maybe.
Man.
And, again, love my friends, hate my fucking friends. Love them because they're like, we're getting through this motherfucker. And we fucking get through that motherfucker with little to no regard for anybody else's
being
safety.
Born.
Or it's just the race to get to the egg. Get the superior fucking sperm. Like, that's what it is. It's a fallopian tube, essentially.
Oh, God.
And so that, I mean, it's like... Again, like if you're not a 6'2", 215-pound assertive dominant male, like you could be stuck in there for 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, it's really that bad, you know. And so we get out of Odessa plays the same Odessa set Odessa plays every time Odessa plays, which I like Odessa, but you know, I think a lot of my quote unquote negativity, or maybe pessimism, just comes from being around it so often. I kind of like lose the idea that for some people, Bonnaroo is the only thing they do all year, and that's fine. But like they go to one festival. Yeah. So when you go to one festival, you want to see your dude play the hits. That's what you want to see. Sure. That's like the reason people listen to the radio still. They just want to hear their song. Like that's what they're going to. Yes. So I get that, but after seeing it 4 and 5 times,
you're still there, innit?
I'm like, yeah, it's good, but you're all phoning this shit in, man. Like it's, you know, and then of course. Again, I don't know, no blame here, but you know, you're playing an hour and 5-minute headlining set Saturday night at Bonnaroo. It's kind of like eye roll for me because you know I've seen guys play guitars for 3 hours. That's what Jack White played for 3 hours at Hangout and shit like that. You know, right? And that wasn't so long ago. That wasn't the fucking 70s. Yeah. That was 2013 for fuck's sake. Yeah, you know? Yeah. So then now again, is that Bonnaroo saying we have an hour and 5-minute slot, or is that Post Malone saying I got an hour of material? You know what I mean? Like I don't know what that necessarily is or whose fault that is. Sure. But it seems to me that Saturday night at the biggest festival on the East Coast, your headlining set should be more than an hour long. That's just kind of how I agree. Feel about it.
I totally agree.
So we're leaving that, and we're just kind of walking through, and we get after Post Malone, which I like and I don't like Post Malone. Like I like everything about him except for what the fuck he's singing about. Like, I don't give a shit about pouring a bottle on some girl on Instagram. I don't give a fuck about that, and I don't think he does either because he's not doing that on social media. So it's, like when you kind of like go back and figure out where he came from, like he's a really just weird, nerdy, kind of odd dude. Yeah, like he's not this super gangster fucking dude or whatever. So like he'll be on stage and like all these guys, like I mean even like Kurt Cobain and like Eddie Vedder like have times where like these motherfuckers aren't in perfect pitch singing great harmonies. Like part of the allure to it is the imperfection of it. You know what I'm saying? So him having a scratchy voice sometimes is cool, but every other song he's like, I can't carry a tune tonight. Oh, I'm so out of pitch. Oh, I'm so terrible. And it's like,
shut the fuck up.
Just like and it's just kind of like, man, if you're apologizing for your own shit, it's just like, goddamn, man, like, dude, fuck, you only got an hour, bro. Like, stop apologizing.
He's like, sorry.
Stop apologizing and sing a song about pouring out liquor.
Yeah,
I only have an hour. Sorry.
I think that says a lot about where we are now, like where we've come. Like when the challenges are that small and people are still
sure. So then as we're leaving that bottleneck, of course, it's Saturday night. We're getting loose. We're fucking loose. We're not. Time to get back to the RV. Like fuck no.
The bottleneck.
Yeah, we're firing up. So we're like, what's next? We're like, all right, Gucci Mane is next, and we're like, oh god, this is gonna be fucking amazing. So I'm not a huge Gucci Mane fan, but everybody down south in Atlanta loves his dude. So like, it's just a vibe, I guess. So we get there, and he's coming out, and I don't know if y'all have ever seen or listened. He's talking about
I've seen a couple.
Pipe up, and I'm looking around like smoke crack right now. Like, is that what he's requesting of the audience? Like, I don't think there's any crack in here, And I'll be goddamned if by the end of that set, a friend of mine comes up to me and she's like, I found this on the ground. And I was like, cool. Like, we never hit a ground score. What is it? Yeah. And she's like, I don't know. And it's just a giant white rock.
Fucking pipe
in this little fucking blue bag. Oh, and I'm like, man,
you were right.
I was like, it's not this, it's not that. And my buddy was like, I know what the fuck that is. He's like, that's fucking either crack or meth. And I was like, shit. And he's like, we'll probably do it later. I was like, you'll probably do it later. And I'll probably be on the opposite side of the festival with you.
I'm going back in the tube.
And he said He said a buddy of mine said that it makes you feel. He said it makes you feel invincible and invisible, and he's like, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And I was like, you should definitely not do it.
That's a bad combination.
I was like, he's like, do you think I could get addicted to it? I said, you will 100% be addicted to it. Like you're craving a feeling of invincibility, and this will give that to you. Yeah, no, you're not gonna have a problem with it at all. It's like, holy shit! Go eat a fucking hot dog and shut the fuck. What are you talking about?
Just do me a favor, take that blue bag, go to the overflowing porta potty, and toss it in.
So, needless to say, we still have this.
Pipe up.
Someone still has this.
Pipe up. I love that.
Yeah. So I was like,
what's he saying? Was he
pipe
talking
up,
about
pipe
crack?
up, pipe up.
Hey, we found some crack.
So we get done piping up, and we go over to again to the Calliope stage. We're like, it's getting a little chilly. Let's go burn down the whole festival with this fucking stage.
Yeah.
Calliope up. Every time I ask somebody what that word is, they tell me a different answer. So every time I come to that word in my brain, it's
that's
like,
incredible.
Oh shit! Calliope. You know, I think it's Calliope.
It's a new version
right?
triggers that.
Isn't Calliope a musical term? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's Calliope, and I'm like, I don't think that's how you say that word. And my buddy goes, well, that's how I say it. I'm like, that's not how that works, though. Like, your name is Dave. I'm not calling you Steve. Like, just because that's how I want to say it.
That's
like,
how I say it.
Yeah, that's how I say it. What? That's the people I hang out with. Like, that's the mentality.
I hate that so much, dude. I don't know how you can stand that.
Dude, that's fucking great. I wonder how,
I don't give a fuck.
I wonder how much mileage there is in that. I'm going to do that the rest of my life. Like, that's fucking how I say it. When I say some stupid shit.
That's how I say it. Yeah. So then the last day was Cardi B day, I guess. So
was this Sunday?
Sunday, yeah. Sunday at like 10 or 11.
This is before she got indicted?
Right. Or was she in a strip club brawl? Is that what it was, the last thing?
God.
So, I get it. I understand wanting to book popular acts, and I understand why those people are popular. I find it a little odd that to me, it does not fall in line with the Bonnaroo spirit whatsoever. Like, sure. Gucci Mane telling people to pipe up doesn't seem to be like the woke, love each
it
other
is Tennessee,
kind of thing,
though,
right?
So.
Right, yeah. And then, so Cardi's coming up, and of course, her music, again, to me, does not invoke this, happy Roo.
This kumbaya spirit.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So her hype man just completely ruined the whole thing. I don't think Cardi B's bad live. I think her hype man just destroyed the whole. Okay, so
God.
Before every song, make some fucking noise for Cardi B. Everybody screams. Make some more noise. Everybody screams. And she sings 60 to 90 seconds of whatever song it may be. Shake your ass, and then make some noise for Cardi B. Like, we don't fucking get it, man. Like, we understand the process. There's a very simple process. We pay for a ticket, you perform, I cheer. Repeat. You're like, rinse that shit out and repeat it.
There's a rhythm to guiding an audience that way. You can't do the whole, do it now and then go, and then you go, no, again.
Yeah, it was very...
It's infuriating.
Well, and what it does, and Gucci didn't have a hype man doing that, but he's kind of on the same thing where, it's this real choppy performance, And I've always said this, and I've seen this, hip-hop is so well served when you have a live band playing the shit.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, when Wiz Khalifa or Jay-Z or The Roots and people that have a live band, it's so much better because when you're tired of rapping, your fucking drummer can just play. He can just drum.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when they're at these big festivals like that and there's just a DJ and a hype man, there is no interludes, there's no rhythm, there's nothing. It's just screaming and hollering and shit.
Yeah.
So halfway through Cardi's funny as shit. So she kind of got on there and was saying some shit I was thinking. She's like, we in the middle of fucking nowhere, Tennessee. Fuck it, let's get fucked up. And I was like, all right, yeah, sure.
Amen.
Yeah. So, her out there it's like stand-up comedy. And she's like, it's hot as fuck up here. Just vulgar as hell. It's funny as shit. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And so halfway through her performance, she rips her fucking full, sequin one-piece leotard thing, just rips the whole ass out of it. She's like, what the fuck? So she has to go off stage to do a wardrobe change. Which
amazing.
She doesn't have anything else to wear. So she comes back out in just a bathrobe from the hotel or some shit. So while she's off stage, she raps. So instead of the DJ just doing cuts on an extended version of one of her tracks or just playing some interlude, instead of that, he just scratches the record and throws on fucking Old Town Road by fucking Lil Nas X.
Wow.
And
nobody asked for that.
Probably the most cringe moment I've ever experienced at a music festival.
Whoa.
The headliner had to go off stage to do a wardrobe change and you played this garbage ass fucking song.
Amazing.
Not even one of her songs. Just play one of her fucking songs, man.
Dude.
Damn, you've been doing it the whole damn time. Just keep doing it without singing on top of it.
Yeah.
So she comes out and she comes back out in like this white robe and she's like, first thing she says is, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna make this look sexy, but I'm gonna fucking do it. And we're like, I'm 300 yards away, and I'm like, I can't tell.
Yeah.
So again, like I appreciate the effort of trying to put the hip hop on there, but like you gotta put some shit that's more consistent.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, and I think Brockhampton was there, and Gambino was more of that spirit. Little Dicky was there again. Like I love Little Dicky, but like the dude's like basically showing his asshole to the crowd like half the time, and it's just like, dude, what? Like, what are we fucking doing here? It's just like devolving into this fucking madness.
Oh man, I get it.
You know,
and I've heard that from I've heard people say that too.
Well, and then that Fish performance was Sunday night, and I'm not a Fish fan at all, so I kind of went out to the campground. There's all kinds of weird shit going on out there, and the mass of people leaving Sunday night kind of surprised me.
Yeah,
you know, now I know people want to beat the traffic, but like you're talking 9 p.m. on Sunday night, and half the festival is leaving while the headliner is playing their 3-hour set, you know, like I found that to be a little odd.
Yeah.
I think even some guys I knew that shoot Bonnaroo were like, that was as small a crowd at that stage for a headliner that I've ever seen, you know, and I don't know what that says about, you know, maybe Fish is losing a little steam. I mean, obviously, I don't think a bunch of college kids are into Fish right now. I mean, when I was in college, they were, but I don't think they are now.
Yeah, I don't think it's nearly as big of a deal as it was.
So, you know, and Fish if you like jam bands, I mean, that's your thing. Like, I don't know.
They're the patriarchal jam. Them and Panic are the two patriarchal jam bands.
I also blame Fish for all the sickness that I get every time, even if they're not at a festival. Like, they call it the Wook flu, but I call it fish nose or fish cough. So, like, yeah, everybody gets sick because there's just dust and dirt and people sweating, and there's untold amounts of people there with God knows what illnesses, and they're just sweating on you, and just it's a mess. So,
yeah.
I get back, you know, most of the stuff I go to, I'm crashing in the hotel and getting showers and all that shit, and I can maintain my shit. But like 3 or 4 days of breathing in farm dust and shit, and it's just like I'm still kind of fucked up with my respiratory shit. And I'm just like, Fish. Fucking hate these motherfuckers.
Damn you, Fish.
Hate these motherfuckers forever now.
Anastasio, the demon.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, if you live in Tennessee, you should go. Sooner than later, because like I said, with Live Nation taking that shit over now. Live Nation's just so they bought Ticketmaster.
Oh,
and yeah, which a lot of people don't realize.
I did not,
because it's still Ticketmaster, but
it still says Ticketmaster.
It's owned by Live Nation now. So what Live Nation does is they also manage artists. So they manage like 500 artists, and then they do all the ticketing for like 80% of the arenas in the whole country.
Holy shit!
So if there's a large popular venue that doesn't use Ticketmaster, Live Nation leverages the artists they have and threatens to, like, you're not going to get a tour stop if you're using AEG tickets. And they kind of, which is illegal as shit.
Sure.
But they kind of force people to use them in order to have access to this gigantic list of big stars.
Fucking monopoly.
So now people say shit like, well, AC books the lineup. And that, sure. But if you think Live Nation isn't like
standing there with their finger in AC's ass,
right?
You know?
Like, then I think that's a little naive, you know. So, you know,
they consider these artists. They slowly push the paper across the table. Right?
So they've kind of like, I think, and that's, you know, why a lot of this shit now, you see all the headliners are all the same. It's all Cardi B, Travis Scott, like it's all the same headliners everywhere.
Fuck.
And it's all, you know, a lot of just radio poppy type stuff, you know. And what used to make festivals great was that each festival was so different.
Yeah,
you know, and now it's just like
they seem the same.
It seems a lot more overlap than what it previously used to be, and I honestly think a lot of it has to do with, I mean, because, you know, Live Nation, I think they control interests in Lollapalooza. I think they do Austin City Limits. I think they do Bonnaroo. They do Lollapalooza.
So you're
going to hang out. They do hang out.
Oh yeah, you're going to be in the club.
Sure. So like it's all just getting into this. It's all just merging to this one. Let's just have one giant festival of 2 million people and just end this shit right now.
Put out in the middle of a field in Oklahoma.
I was walking out of the liquor store. This is funny as shit because I was walking out of the liquor store with a bag of fucking liquor for the hell cabin I went to this weekend in the mountains, and I'm walking out and like it's not. All right, I just have resting face with like my beard. Like I just guess it looks at me, this guy outside who's homeless, and you know, he's, hey, smile, man. And I was like, fuck you. Like, walking out, just all this liquor, telling this homeless, fuck off, motherfucker. Like, oh God. But that's women always say that every bartender chick we know hates it when people tell them to smile. Right?
Yeah.
And I get that though. Like my thing was, it's energy. Like I'm getting up there in years. Like I got to conserve all the energy I can. So smiling takes a little bit of energy. Nah, yeah, not doing that. Like, we're conserving all of our fucking energy.
Well, here's what I'm wondering: the people that do that shit, the people that say that kind of shit to bartenders, they try to make small talk with bartenders. Okay, which is a bad idea anyway. Bartender doesn't give a fuck about you. Mm-hmm. You know, they want to give service. They're welcome to do a job. They're cool. Sometimes we're actually friends with a lot of bartenders. But the thing is, the random fucking guy that comes in and just goes, hey, you should smile more. I wonder who fucking told him that was a good idea. Where back in his backlog did that work on anybody?
It's like this. How about this weather?
His wife
thing,
beating
right?
dad probably told him that.
A fucking girl somebody at the grocery store goes, oh, you changed my whole life by telling me that. I smile all the time now. Bullshit.
He's got 3 note cards in his back pocket. Just has the same 3 ones. How about this weather? You should smile more. And then the last one's just a picture of his dick taped to an index card.
You like this? No? Okay. All right.
I had a dude this past week that came through my line because I work retail of all places to get that, and I wasn't even handling him because it was like a return or something, so I needed a manager. And I'm looking out the big window by the front door, and I was tired, to be fair, but the dude pipes up around the manager and goes, well, you look like you're half asleep. And I said, I am, thank you.
I was until you started. I was almost full asleep until you started talking to me, dick face.
God, retail.
It's awful. 3 times this week, though, people will be like, this must be a boring day. So I'm tired. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you.
Unsolicited comments about your appeance.
Yeah, you could just tell me I look like shit. Like, I can read.
You look like you're having a bad day. Okay, fuck you.
Yeah.
This lady told me, I left the store. She said, have an amazing day. And I just felt like that was a lot of pressure. I was going to go home and just eat these potato chips and watch Netflix. But now I have to fucking have an amazing day because Sharon down here is fucking going the extra fucking mile.
It's my fucking hair, though. Like, I should probably smile more, too. But I was talking to my wife about that. I was like, pressure. My hair is always wild as fuck because it's long and thin. So they take one look at me, and it doesn't help that I've got bags and I'm skinny as shit and look like I'm on drugs.
They're like, what's up, Dark Crystal?
Every time my hair goes out at all, that's when it starts. They come in and go, can I help you? You look like you need to talk to somebody. There's not conditioner that fixes this. I just need to get scissors or something.
This is not the white privilege that we were all talking about.
The other day, Gucci Mane walked into Books A Million, saw Hunter, and was like, pipe up.
Pipe up. I was like, one step ahead of you.
Pipe up, Hunter.
People are buying crack off of him. He looks so bad.
Dude, so anyway, tell us about this cabin party you went to, Sean.
Oh, God, do I have to?
The cabin from hell, you do. You mentioned it.
You had
I'm going to preface. I have to preface everything so I don't just ruin relationships every time I speak. I have to preface everything. My friends are fucking awesome. They are. They're fucking funny. They're successful. Like, we have the same taste in music, the same like sense of humor and shit, and like implicitly like trust these motherfuckers not to fucking ruin my life. That being said, but my friends can take it to a fucking level that just it should not ever get to for no other reason than they can. I
love that.
I think the quote last night was like, "Hey, we got a couple noise complaints last night because you all are screaming off the balcony at sunrise and blasting this 20,000 watt sound system down the valley." And my buddy goes, "Well, we should probably just keep going until the cops show up. Like, then we'll shut it down." And I'm like, God, just like
fucking A, man.
Like
Braveheart.
We got a 400 square foot living room with like a 20,000 watt. They're running it off a fucking like power strip. Like, this whole place is gonna burn to the fucking ground.
Amazing.
So we had been on the road. So we were in Tampa for Sunset. I was down there shooting 12th Planet. And then we went to Chicago after that. Shot Hero Bust and Dub Loads and Spaghetti in Chicago at this Spring Awakening Festival, which was wild as shit. That place Chicago's crazy. And then we went to Nashville for a show with, I think, Rusco. Okay. We were there eating hot chicken with Rusco. And then we went to Bonnaroo right after that, right? So it was like 15 days on the road or something in 3 weeks. And it's all, I'm going to do my thing with shooting photography and like having to, keep my shit together. And everybody else I go with is going to just fucking while out. Just to rage, yeah. So it's very, like, the dynamic is very interesting. It's like, hey, we have a flight at 8 a.m. It's 5:30. We should probably leave the casino because we have an hour drive to go back home. And then we have to drive it back through Chicago morning rush hour to catch this flight at 8 a.m. because y'all missed your flight last night. So it's 5:30. We should probably get going, and it's like one more hand, and it never stops. It never ends.
Amazing,
And then it turns into 16-hour airport days, and it just gets ridiculous. So this cabin, we're on the road for 4 weeks. They're like, yo, my buddy's girl's like, I don't know what to do for his birthday, and I was like, just suck his dick and make him a sandwich. Why do I have to be involved? Why do I have to be involved in every fucking thing?
I'm not a party planner. I'm trying to get us out of this casino.
I was like, it don't have to be an event. You're 31. It's not an event. So we called it the Forever 31 parties, and now that's, I guess, the festival we're having every year.
Oh, man.
So I'm thinking, we'll go up here. It'll be, just 6 or 8 of us, and, there's a hot tub and shit, and we'll just drink a bunch and fucking chief and fucking just do whatever.
Just chill.
I understand we're going to listen to fucking music. I get that,
Yeah.
Well, we get up there, or, the next couple of days are oh, I got so-and-so. I got, Brad T. I got Brad Tomlinson. He's giving us his setup. And I was like, the fucking setup that they put in the concourse half the time. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, how big is this fucking cabin? It didn't seem that big. They're like, oh, it's fine. And then they get this giant subwoofer and shit up there. And
God.
And I'm like, I feel like this wireless mega boom speaker would be plenty for this party. I'm just like, man, maybe this place is just big. And I asked my one buddy, I said, hey, are there neighbors up here? Because I've been to cabins that are pretty much by themselves.
Right.
And I've been to cabins that are
There's 3 more right next to you.
Yeah, it's a whole
going down the fucking
subdivision. Yeah, exactly. And they send me a Google Earth picture of the neighborhood, and there are no less than 20 houses within earshot of this fucking cabin.
Amazing.
We're on the very, very top. We're on top of the world lane, looking down at 25, 30 fucking houses. And I was like, oh man.
Oh, dude.
This is gonna be bad. Mm-hmm. So we go inside, and the living room where they have this shit set up, it's smaller than this room here. It's 400 square feet. They got a 20,000 watt system in there. They got decks and
my fucking nightmare. That is my nightmare.
All right, so before going up there, and my mom's gonna listen to this shit, but all right, tough shit. I kind of dabble in experience with drugs, whatever. So before going up there, I was like, man, once a year, twice a year, I like to have some sort of hallucinogenic experience.
A psychedelic experience.
Just not eat a 10 strip and run around the town naked. I just like to just be in the woods and just, something different. Just 1 or 2 times. It usually clears my head is how I kind of think about it. So I was thinking, I was like, hey man, we should bring some of this shit up. We should get some mushrooms. We should do some shit or whatever. And they're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I get up there, and I was there for probably 5 minutes, and I was like, there is no fucking way I can have any type of peaceful, hallucinogenic anything up here. Everything. There's 12 people there. There's 2 bedrooms. Oh, there's just suitcases everywhere. They're moving furniture, throwing fucking couches
There's
out.
no way anything transcendental is going to happen.
It's just the most cluttered, I get a little claustrophobic, which again is weird. I guess at music festivals, I at least have space where I'm shooting and stuff. But I get it's just I'm super OCD. My fucking place is always clean as fuck. I like all my shit in order.
There's a personal space issue,
and nobody I hang out with is like that. They're all the complete opposite. They're all just you go in their house and they're just they want to wear a shirt, just pick it up off the chair and it's just they're all that way, So I'm just like, man, there ain't no fucking way I'm having any type of relaxing, peaceful, any type of shit here. It's too cluttered, it's too stressful. All right, so we'll just drink and do whatever and shit, and it's 9:00 and music full fucking volume, the windows are just fucking vibrating. The whole fucking house is fucking shaking. And of course, everybody's like, it's really not that bad. I'm like, you're screaming that to me right now. It's not that bad. And, there's 2 floors, and every wall in this whole place is just fucking vibrating. I'm like, I'm getting some good sunrise photos, so we're all going to stay up. Sunrise is 5:30, so that's not too terribly late,
Yeah.
So we're all up on the balcony and shit, and the sun's coming up, and I take some photos of it and go back in downstairs and shit. And for whatever reason, I guess since the sun came up, that means we can turn the music even fucking louder, So then the music is up again and shit, and it's 7 in the morning. I got earplugs in and shit. I brought earplugs, motherfucker. And I'm still keeping me up. So it's just 8. 9 o'clock in the fucking morning, and it's just getting louder. And I finally I just pulled out my phone and I was like, yo, is there any way we can turn the fucking music off? And my buddy goes, oh, my bad. We weren't even in the house. And I'm like, where the fuck are y'all at? They're like, oh, we just been sitting outside the whole time. I'm like, so the only purpose of the music is to just keep me awake at this point, right?
Oh, man.
So then it's like 9:30. They cut the music off. 10 o'clock. Let's go to Dollywood. Holy shit. What?
Holy shit.
What? Let's go to Dollywood on the first weekend of summer. What? Are you fucking out of your mind? They went to Dollywood, stood in fucking lines and did all that swimming shit. So the second night we were like, everybody was like, there's no way that we could possibly go as hard as we did last night. Like, it's not a challenge. Like, we just really pushed it the whole fucking way.
It's not in the cards.
Noise complaints.
Tank's
like,
empty. Yeah.
Everything, like, literally. Fucking complaints. It's noisy as fuck. Like, everyone around us, like, kind of just, like, side-eyeing the shit out of us and whatever.
There's an angry mob at the bottom of the hill.
They're like, my buddy's girl's like, oh, my friend's coming up. He's bringing decks so he can actually like do some better mixing instead of just playing off this stupid virtual DJ thing or whatever. I'm like, cool. Like, it seems a little unnecessary, but whatever. This dude shows up with a fucking subwoofer that's like 5 feet by 5 feet by 5 feet cube, and now puts the system on top of the subwoofer and hits it to like 2 or 3, and they've hit like the first bass drop of the first song, and I'm just like, dude, Jesus, what are y'all doing? Like, this is not even enjoyable. And it just goes and goes. And they're just like, oh, if the door's shut, it's not that bad. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers are saying that shit.
You're like, all the grass outside is dead.
Yeah. There's like bears and like geese and hawks just evacuating the forest, like all flooding down the fucking mountain.
Like some kids played with matches or something and cut the forest apart.
There's spiders and worms coming out of the ground and flooding the neighbors. And
fucking
like,
Smokey the Bear's out there.
Yeah. So again, it's like, yo, like I'm so liberal with fucking like whatever y'all want to do, party wise, drug wise, all that shit. Like, I just I don't understand the volume. Like, why does it have to be so fucking loud? You know, so like it just goes and goes and goes, and fucking my buddies just keep turning it up and up and up, and I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go, man. I gotta get out of here.
Gotta go, man.
What? You're leaving? Why? I'm like, I thought it was pretty obvious from the last 6 hours of me screaming at you why I'm fucking leaving. But in case you were wondering, my ears are bleeding, right?
Yeah.
And you're like giving me dysentery.
The loudest cabin ever.
It literally was the loudest cabin ever. And they're just like, it's not that bad. I'm like, see,
listen, man.
I guess it depends on what your barometer is, you know? Like, it's not bad compared to a war zone, probably.
Yeah.
It's bad compared to a peaceful vacation retreat that these people are taking. So.
What's funny is in the next couple of weeks, that cabin you guys are in is going to fall from its foundation and crumble down the mountain.
Exactly.
And they're going to be like, oh, man, that's crazy. We were just in that house. It's like, yeah, you're the reason. All that bass shook the floor of the house.
I love what you said right before we started. You were kind of telling a version of the story before we recorded. You said you couldn't even play pool because the fucking pool balls are like vibrating off the table, you know?
It was
I love
amazing.
that.
It was amazing. Again, like, love these motherfuckers to death, but like, I think you're trying to kill me. Okay.
That's incredible.
Have you seen the movie The Game with Michael Douglas?
Yes.
That is my fucking life with my friend group.
Holy
shit.
shit.
It's like the entire planet is like just fucking with me. Like, it's hilarious.
Like, you've been enrolled in something?
Oh, you asked us nicely not to do something. I'm going to do that thing times 1,000,000.
We're going to get scientists to come in. We're going to invent a new, more extreme way to do it, and then we're going to do it double. Fucking, I get it.
Yeah,
that's an interesting movie. The Game.
Yeah, that's my life. I just feel like people are just purposely fucking with me.
Shit. Well, what else has been going on, dude? Anything else? I know that I mean, it's a long kind of thing, but I think everyone in Knoxville, probably everyone in the United States, was, I think, following along on your social media as Game of Thrones kind of fizzled to that farty ending that it had. I mean, man, it was even before most people got mad. You were already just like, what
Spencer,
the fuck?
every time we met up at this room, whatever we were doing, he'd walk through the door laughing. Did you see what Sean said about Game of Thrones this week?
I mean,
when even the people that were going, well, I can kind of see why they. But I was like, no, go read Sean Ireland. You know, it'd just be like, eat shit.
Yeah, it's frustrating, man. You know, and again, it's one of those things too, where it's like you're complaining, and it's like, well, I mean, I've invested time and money into this product, and I feel like criticism and complaining aren't the same thing. Like, now again, we talked about, so complaining would be like, this show's too long, right? Well, like criticism would be
like, it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. You know, that's complaining.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
You know?
So critique would be, you know, trying to understand why you took these characters in this seemingly abrupt direction after what you've shown us in the past X amount of episodes. You know?
Right.
And I'll tell you what, whoever Arya Stark's agent is, pay that motherfucker. This dude is getting her all kinds of screen time on that fucking show. I was like, damn, Arya's agent is a fucking G.
Yeah, dude.
Like, this just jump out of nowhere and fucking frustrating.
Crazy.
But now I also heard that they were potentially doing some kind of Arya spin-off fucking show. And I was like, well, it totally makes sense because now it's Disney-owned shit, and now it's about merchandise and furthering the brand and not about telling the story. But, put that on George R.R. Martin's, you didn't write the book. I mean, it's a weird thing when they take on material that's not finished.
Yeah.
But then again, if they took it on when it was finished, when the fuck would they ever take it on? Because the dude ain't finishing it. Like, I don't know what.
Yeah, that's a big point of contention.
It's going to go the way of Wheel of Time, I think.
Have you guys watched Chernobyl?
Yes,
I want to so bad.
I want to start it. I've heard it's phenomenal.
Yeah. The level of just kind of
dread.
Well, it's kind of incompetence mixed with denial.
Yeah.
They're just like, the very first episode it starts with, the core exploding.
The levels are super high.
And there's like workers that are like, the core exploded. And the head guy is like, no, it didn't. And they're like, we're looking at it. And he's like, it's impossible. And they're like, it's not fucking there anymore. And he's like, yeah, it's there. And you're like, are you like incompetent? Are you like just? It's hard to guess like what's dominating that. The interesting thing I found, I tell people this is kind of a small thing. Everybody in the movie's got a British accent, or in the show, and I'm like, aren't they Russian?
Yeah.
And then the guy said something where he was like, all these people from different countries trying to do the same Russian accent just wasn't working. And it just was odd. So
I can see
like,
that.
Fuck it, let's just do it. Make the actor comfortable so they can at least do a proper performance instead of having to worry about
that's a pretty
doing an Eastern Ukrainian accent all the time. And I was like, that's some Kevin Costner Prince of Thieves bullshit, though. This motherfucker, this dude's out here in Sherwood Forest fucking talking like he's from Kansas. You're like, this fucking guy. He had this is funny as shit. So in that movie, Kevin Costner has an accent from a country that doesn't fucking exist while he's in that fucking movie, right? Like, how do you have an American accent when America didn't exist in the fucking like 1500s, whatever the fuck that shit?
Why are you worried about that when I'm trying to take down the sheriff?
Fucking the suspension of disbelief.
He's like, shut up and listen to this Bryan Adams song.
Yeah, by God.
I watched a terrible version of Robin Hood last night when I got home too. That new one with the dude, what's his name? The dude from the Kingsman shit.
I haven't seen it.
Jamie Foxx gives an electrifying performance as whoever the fuck
as
he's
Electro.
Whoa,
right? That movie was terrible. It's like a historical piece made by the Fast and Furious. Like it's like that.
I remember seeing previews for it.
I don't like period pieces that have like modern music in them. I think that shit's weird.
A lot of that movie was modern though. Like it was obviously a period piece because of the setting, but the design of everything was
the clothing looked like Star Trek clothing. Like it's super weird. Yeah, like they're walking around these weird like minimalistic, like elegant robes, and I'm like, what is going on?
So, like, my wife is a huge Robin Hood fan, so I didn't want to see that movie. It looked awful, and then we went and saw it, and I wound up liking it on the level of a Saturday morning cartoon.
There you go.
Which is not even meant to be a knock, but just 5 minutes in, I said, "Oh, that's what this is." Okay,
sure, yeah, exactly.
Hunter blinked, had a bowl of cereal in his pajamas.
My onesie.
And exactly. It's I don't know. They're making a 9th Fast and Furious movie. That's the
No, that's not Hobbs and Shaw.
I really want to have faith in humanity, but when you're making a 9th Fast and Furious movie, it's really hard to do that.
Just like you said, we're literally moving towards idiocracy. Like it.
So Hobbs and Shaw is the movie they gave The Rock because all the other actors on Fast and Furious fucking hate The Rock. They said he's a total asshole. So they were like, we made this franchise with Paul Walker.
Yeah.
And we built this thing. And then we brought you along as this ancillary character. And you are trying to make the whole movie about you. Yeah. Like, fuck you. So it got to the point in that last terrible version that nobody would even film scenes with him. So, like, when you look at that movie, I watched that movie and I was like, the editing is very strange. Why is it always like this? And then it's like, well, because nobody would shoot a scene with The Rock. So every time The Rock's on screen with somebody, it's basically like a stand-in or like a green screen. Like, it's really choppy and shit. Him and Vin Diesel are never in the same shot ever in the whole movie.
Yeah. I mean,
even when they're like fighting, I think, and it's not even
stunt
them
doubles.
Two. It's really weird.
But like he comes along in Fast 5, and that franchise had died. already.
Sure.
And he comes along in Fast 5, and it's like the biggest thing in the world now, other than Marvel.
Dude, that's because The Rock, they'll be like, okay, so The Rock works at Petros, and they're like, give him $500 million. Let's do it. Like, it doesn't, like, The Rock does, it's like Mad Libs. The Rock does anything, and they just shit out $25 million for him.
Anytime I watch the trailer for Hobbs and Shaw, I watch it and I'm like, that's going to be a terrible movie.
Well, then,
but I want to fucking
Statham's
see it just because I want to watch Jason Statham.
Right. Well, then,
it's the Expendables. I'm like, this is all just this one big swirling,
so like on the
car chase.
On the reverse side of that is like this ultra like minimalistic artsy shit. Have you guys seen that new Jonah Hill movie, mid-90s?
No, I want to so
I've heard it's
bad.
good.
Yeah, I heard that too. And then you get 15 minutes into it, and it's almost like how many mid-90s references can you cram down my fucking throat? It's like a contest.
Oh, I bet it's terrible.
So you know how every Ben Affleck movie is like everybody has a Boston Bruins jersey. Everyone's wearing a Celtics hat. Like everything is so overtly Boston. You're just like, I get it, man. Like, we get it. So mid-90s, here's the first like 5 minutes of it. This kid wakes up in his Ninja Turtles sheets on his bed. He puts on his Ren and Stimpy t-shirt. And then he goes outside and gets his Bart Simpson skateboard and skates it past the Blockbuster Video. And you're just like, yeah, I get it, Jonah. We're in the mid-90s. But it's like, it's not just him skating past a Blockbuster Video in the background. It's them saying, I'm going to go skate down to the Blockbuster Video. Like, and just making it
man.
like, and after, like, again, like after 20, 25 minutes of it, I'm just kind of like, man, I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to make Kids all over again. It's not nearly as captivating as that movie Kids. Like, I understand what you're trying to do, though. And it's just like, the minimalistic shit, the artsy shit of it, like to me, it was just like, dude, all you're really fucking doing,
you're getting spoon fed,
cramming. It's just cramming in '90s, shit. Like,
there's nothing artistic about
like
that.
like Ready Player One kind of tried to do a lot of that shit, where there's just like, how many references can we throw into one movie? But it kind of made sense in that one. This one is just, it was really like over the top about the shit. So didn't really make it too far.
I would feel, I'd be kind of like, look, I'd feel the same fucking way.
Have you guys seen Us?
Yes, I didn't care for it, but you liked it a lot.
The twist at the end ruined the entire logic of the movie, did it not?
I felt like that too.
Yeah,
but
everybody's seen
together.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
spoiler alert.
I made them go see it on my birthday. I enjoyed the cinematography.
100%. The score, I thought
it's
the
a
acting was
beautiful
great.
movie.
I thought at the very scene where she walks down the stairs and it's that long hallway and the bunny rabbits and the lights are
Yeah,
chopped.
yeah.
I was watching that going, this is so Kubrick. It's not even funny. Like, it's so Kubrick looking. I love it. But yeah, the story itself was so full of holes that I was just like, I just gotta be able to find something to like about
I can suspend my disbelief when something fictional is happening. The plot of the movie is fictional, right? There's these doppelgangers underneath that I can suspend my disbelief and say that, okay, this is the reality of this movie. But like you said, the logical holes, I can't suspend my disbelief on logic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
the
what I mean?
swap is what broke it.
So, So up until the very end of it, I felt like the movie made sense. And I was kind of thinking in my head, I was like, they probably swapped at the beginning. That's probably the twist. Mm-hmm. But then when you think about it in that respect, why didn't
that chick just leave?
That completely destroys the entire logic of the movie. Why would she wouldn't have amnesia.
Yeah.
Remember, because she was like, they went down in that thing and like, oh, she didn't speak for so long and blah, blah, blah. Like, why does she forget that she came out of the fun house? Like, why would she forget that? It doesn't make sense. She was like 10 years old or 8 years old when it happened.
She was choked out. She wasn't hit in the head.
Well, the girl that choked her out is the main character.
Yeah.
So it's like, she wouldn't forget doing that.
Yeah.
So like I was thinking, I was like, that she's going to be the doppelganger. And then she was, and I was like, okay, but that ruins the entire sandcastle you just built. Of
See,
this
I was
movie.
even on board with the doppelganger initially because I thought the like quietness and her like maybe learning to speak their language.
Yes, I got wind of that early too.
But
and
it was her going down.
I thought
that was the part. I
thought it would have been better served if the wife, the normal wife character, if she found out that the person she switched with was coming to get her, and she was trying to hide that fact from her family. Like, I feel like that would have been a better dynamic.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, right. And then it was just kind of like, oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't get choked out. I didn't get amnesia. I'm the little girl that was a doppelganger. It's just like, well, that doesn't make sense anymore.
Also, the trip across, the America, the road trip version of it was cool. And the big ideas I liked. I think we all agreed the execution was bad. But the the home invasion part, which is what got everyone there, being 10 minutes of the second act.
Yeah. I don't like that's that whole like the misleading headline bullshit.
Yeah.
Case in point, this I'm not going to call out people by name because this is some dumbass shit I saw a bunch of my fucking friends do. There was a story from Knoxville. The headline was "Man arrested with torso in his car." That's what the headline was.
I saw that, yeah.
Then all you have to do, I don't know if you guys know this, if you click on the headline, you can read the whole story and find out what actually fucking happened. Yeah.
I thought the headline was the story.
You click on it, and the first sentence is so-and-so and so-and-so, I can't remember what the guy's name was charged with vehicular homicide. Okay, so he wasn't arrested for having a human torso. Like, you clearly fucking lied in the headline. That's not what he was arrested for.
Yeah.
He was arrested for vehicular homicide. Vehicular homicide, that's weird. What happened? You keep reading. He got pulled over.
Yeah.
And when the cops were approaching his car, he took off. He's fucking blackout, hammered, drunk, or on fucking
totally
drugs,
fucking gone. The guy was gone.
As he's fleeing from the cops, he takes a turn too sharp, jumps the curb, goes through a crosswalk, hits a pedestrian, puts him into a utility pole, and cuts the dude clean in half.
Chops the guy right in half.
Clean in half. Now, some people say, a friend of mine said, how could a car cut someone in half? I'm like, motherfucker, that thing's like 4,000 pounds,
How could it
60
not?
miles an hour. So it cut the guy in half, and I'm assuming I'm not drawing the shit going to therapy for it.
But by some weird miracle of physics,
hit him, cut him in half. He falls through the destroyed windshield. When the cops finally catch up to him, holy shit. You cut a fucking dude in half.
And part of it's in the car with
That's what happened. Now, that's a weird enough story, in my opinion.
Already.
Why the fuck do you need to, embellish and lie about it in the headline? So people kept, and I kept explaining, I'm screenshotting this shit. It says he ran a dude over. And people were like, I wonder what he was going to do with that body. I'm like, motherfucker, nothing. He wasn't doing nothing with it. He killed a motherfucker.
He's going to go take it to Gucci Man.
Yeah.
Pipe up.
I was just like, I don't know. Again, it's I feel like it's this Michael Douglas. I feel like I'm Michael fucking Douglas.
Dude,
are y'all fucking with me right now?
We had a lot of conversations about the fucking bizarre mechanics that would allow that torso into the car. Some people are like, do you think he got out and put it in? I'm like, well, I don't know. The guy was so fucking gone. I'm pretty sure he just flew in the car.
Yeah, and then he just took off running and shit. Yeah.
And so when he got
caught... It even said he was a pedestrian. So it's a guy walking across the street.
I don't even remember seeing this.
It was downtown somewhere.
I thought it was off near Sutherland.
That's what I was going to say, somewhere, but downtown Sutherland.
Not far from here at all.
Yeah.
Damn.
We can go. There's probably
torso.
I want to see, is there a chalk outline of
just legs?
Torso here and legs over here?
Just the legs. Damn shame what they did to that dog.
I feel like the funeral would be cheaper if you only had a half a casket.
Hey! Shit.
Big cycling weekend in Knoxville. Segway.
Big cycling. I heard you even had a little trouble getting here.
Did have a little trouble getting here. Once a year, they completely inconvenience my Sunday afternoon like a bunch of fucking assholes, and I can't go get brunch.
Can I participate on one of those scooters?
Right? The scooters, the fucking scooters.
Dude.
So there's some scooters you can't scoot past 9. There's some scooters that you can take the whole way out to Fellini Kroger, apparently, but I can't take one to my apartment, which is literally a mile away from Market Square.
Amazing.
The cutoff is Alliance Brewery on Sevier Avenue, I think, and I live right around the corner from that.
What happens? Does the thing just shut off if you try to go past?
Yes, it'll start flashing red and
That's
it'll
hilarious.
shut the fuck off.
Dude, I saw a crazy...
I told some people I was walking up to that pizza place down there, and these middle-aged women were flying on these scooters that way, and I was like, don't go over the tracks, they'll explode. And they were like, what? It's as far as they go.
Dude, we were on Gay Street briefly last night, and I saw a thing I had not seen before, and it was somebody in one of those little carts, like the ride-sharing carts, like the little golf carts, and fucking that person was right in the middle of the road, and there were 50 people on scooters behind him, and they were having a fucking convoy.
Jesus.
Right down the middle of Gay Street. And they were yelling, and whoever was in the fucking golf cart was just let's
I see
go!
them going the wrong way down the one-ways and shit.
Oh,
they kicked them out of Nashville for that shit. I'll tell you what a good idea is. Why don't we put some scooters at music festivals? So I ain't got to walk my ass around and need to fuck up my nice-ass shoes.
No shit.
Because they could use them motherfuckers. Hell, I'm going to about 10 more this year, I think. So.
No shit. What do you got lined up?
I got Bisco. Camp Bisco's coming up. I've never been there. It's in Scranton, which I'm so excited about.
Scranton,
the guys
Pennsylvania?
that I'm going with, I'm like, yo, you need to make a fucking Office theme song track.
Oh,
to play
amazing.
in Scranton, yeah. So yeah, that's in Scranton. They have like a wave pool on the side of the main stage and shit up there.
Good.
It's at a big like water park ski resort thing up there.
Really?
I'm from Pennsylvania. I mean, I've never been to this place in Scranton, but yeah, so we're going up there. That's July 18th.
That sounds rad.
And then, hold on, let me pull my Palm Pilot out.
Your itinerary.
My beeper. Let me pull my beeper out real quick.
God, beepers.
911. All right, so we're going
Mid-90s?
to Camp Bisco. 2 weeks after that is Hard Summer in L.A.
Whoa.
It's going to be like super hot. It's a huge racetrack thing. There's probably 80,000 people there.
Shit.
It's only Saturday and Sunday, though, so it shouldn't be too bad. The weekend right after that, second weekend of August, I'm going to Baltimore for Moonrise. That's the one that's at the horse track.
Okay.
That's always a good time. Who the fuck's out there this year? 21 Savage, the British 21 Savage.
Fuck. The British.
A bunch of other guys. I think Diplo might be there, Marshmallow, a couple other guys. They always have a big lineup. After that, I got probably 2 days in Atlanta, some Bear Grylls maybe. And then September, High Caliber Festival I'm going to be doing. I met a guy from Philly at Spring Awakening in Chicago.
Yeah.
They throw a festival on the USS New Jersey battleship.
Holy shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so they have the main stage is like right next to like the giant 50 cal like cannons and shit.
Oh my God.
And they shoot fireworks out of the cannons, and they have to buy a certain kind of firework because the fireworks have to explode in Pennsylvania. If they explode in New Jersey, it's illegal.
Holy
So they shoot them over the
shit.
Delaware River and shit and explode shit. So I met him down there. And he's like, just Instagram networking, all that kind of shit. He's like, dude, come up. I'll put all you guys on the list. Come up and shoot this thing, and we'll get you guys a place to stay and all that shit.
Fucking amazing.
So we're gonna do that. I'm pretty excited about it. I think last year was the first year they did it. This year, I think G Jones is headlining.
Dude, I got to look that up online. I'd like to see some fucking
G
videos
Jones
from
is.
that.
I feel like G Jones is one of the guys who can get fringe people can convert. When we went to Bonnaroo, I didn't feel like there was a lot of acts there that were converting people to their music. If you like Casey Musgraves, you're going to see Casey Musgraves,
right.
And she's not bringing in any new fan. Cardi B, if you didn't like Cardi B before Bonnaroo, you didn't like her after you saw her at Bonnaroo. And I felt like the way for a lot of people. So G Jones, Greg, I met him in Chicago, like super nice dude. He's headlining that one. I think he's one of the guys who like people who don't give electronic music a lot of like respect.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy that could get respect from some of the
transitional artists.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot more compositions and melodies and not
Interesting.
just super hardcore robot fucking.
I got to
noises,
check that out because I dig shit like I'm really into shit like that.
After High Caliber, I'm going to Imagine Atlanta.
Yep.
At the Speedway. Gosh, that's kind of brutal too. It's so hot down there sometimes.
Yep. It stays hot in Atlanta real late into the season.
I'm going to go down there. I think I'm shooting some guys from Grave Dancer. That's like Boogie T Trio. He plays like a live set too with some guys. Hesh, Squanto, but I think they like Eric, the guy that owns Grave Dancer. He told me they have like 5 hours of their guys in a row at this one stage in Atlanta, and I was like, I'll be there.
Jesus, dude.
Right after that, this is all in a row, by the way. Battleship, Atlanta Motor Speedway, and then Lost Lands, the one with all the dinosaurs.
Lost
right
Lands
after that.
with Excision, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
My God, that shit is
sounds
freaking ridiculous.
awesome.
And then right after that is a festival that Liquid Strangers throwing this year called
Love Liquid Stranger.
Wakan Festival. So they put their lineup out today. I know all those guys. I'm probably going to hopefully get on the media team for that one.
Fucking
too.
A, dude.
And then right after that, I have to go to a wedding in Denver where Illenium's doing 3 nights at Red Rocks while I'm there. So I'm pretty stoked about it. I've already seen him like 5 times this year. Not because I want to go listen to music and cry like my buddies do. Illenium made me cry. Motherfucker. You wouldn't be saying that shit out loud. But he's happened to be at places where I've been shooting guys, and I've seen him like 5. Nice guy. I mean, I've met him before and everything. I like his music, but like, there are those fans, they get in their fucking feels about it and shit.
Oh, man, dude.
And then finally after that shit, I mean, I think I got a little bit of a break. I mean, that takes me the whole way into October.
Fuck, man.
And then we're probably EDC Orlando maybe. And then right back again. Like, I think last time I talked to you guys, I did Hijinks in Philadelphia, New Year's.
Yep.
And then we did this thing called Forbidden Kingdom in Boca Raton, Florida. So they put this giant inflatable like red dragon on top of this amphitheater thing with like red eyes and smoke coming out of its mouth. and just started blasting obnoxiously loud bass music in Boca fucking Raton, which is like
retirement community.
Oh, and it's in like Sunset Amphitheater is in like a retirement community.
It's in an episode of Golden Girls, literally.
Yeah. And they did it and they crushed it, and they're apparently doing it again and adding another stage, and they're planning on like slowly every year adding more stuff. It's a big like park, like dog park, wooded like kind of area and stuff. And I mean, it was really cool. We had a great time. Like I think it was 2 days. Everybody that was booked there, we've pretty much like had personally known, so there's one big green room with like 30 people in it. And like, just knowing all these guys, it was a real good time.
Shit, man.
After that, we did, I think Sunset was, I did a bunch of stuff like one-off shows and down in Atlanta and in Nashville, stuff for Spaghetti in Atlanta, Hero Bust, 12th Planet. I did all that stuff down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
12th Planet 420 show in Atlanta was pretty.
But it was fucking
pretty rowdy.
I bet that landed. Yeah.
And then after that was Sunset in Tampa, 105 degrees.
Fuck.
Every day. Oh my god, man. It was fucking brutal. That was really fun though. A good time there. Alice in Wonderland was there. Skrillex and Boys Noise. They have a electro house, I guess, thing called Dog Blood. That was pretty fun. And then Liquid Stranger, Rusko, all those guys. I was like, I've known these guys for years.
I remember I always used to see here in Knoxville. I always used to see Liquid Stranger with Excision.
Yeah,
fucking dope.
Yeah, for sure. And then after that was that Chicago festival, Spring Awakening. Went downtown Chicago and gave the old double birds to the Trump Tower.
To the Trump Tower, yeah.
Motherfucker.
Fucker.
A lot of, policy and everything like aside, conservative, liberal, whatever, that dude fucked my uncle out of a ton of money. So fuck him. Yeah, like
what's the story?
My uncle owns a construction company in Philly and Jersey. Yeah. So back in the 80s when they're building, all the casinos and all the Atlantic City and all that kind of shit, my uncle's, building these giant towers and shit. And what he does is Trump Corporation of America something is the company that signs the contract. Well, that company's just a bullshit fucking name. Ain't no goddamn money in that company's bank account. So when it comes down to pay the last $2 million or last $3 million, it's like, oh, I don't have any more money. I filed for bankruptcy. Now I only have to pay you 30 cents on the dollar. Dude. And you have to lay off 100 fucking people. And he did that to like 25 people. Like he did it to everybody back in the day,
Yeah. I've heard that. I've heard that a lot.
So he did that to my uncle. So, it's like, I feel like I have a pretty legitimate reason to be like, fuck this.
More than most, yeah.
And if you think that the savior of your life is a guy who's fucking over my uncle, you can get fucking bent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So, watch any Democrat? I know you're into Tulsi.
Man, I told somebody this. I want to be sort of careful because I get excited real easily. You know what I mean? But I like her. I've liked her. We've actually talked about it. I've liked her for a long time because she's one of the like anti-corruption types, And I tend to like them on either side of the aisle. Like I like even if there's a Republican. I was into Ron Paul. Ron Paul was my dude. And maybe he was a libertarian, and maybe, but I always look for the guy. I was talking to Eric Stamm about this.
I think libertarians are just Republicans that aren't racist, right?
Yeah, some people think libertarians they just wanted everything to be like the fucking Road Warrior,
right?
Like that, which,
like anarcho-capitalist,
total anarchist, But man, like I tell you what I think, like. I was talking with Eric Stamm about this, and I was like, look, man, there's a lot of different ways to get there from here, and fucking, like, yeah, maybe you need to pump a ton of money into environmental sciences and protect the environment that way, or maybe like some of the libertarian guys say, maybe you sue for property rights. If there's a guy with a big fucking factory and he fucking pollutes your land, sue that fucking guy and take care of it in court. There's a protection that works either way, but here's the problem. All that shit collapses, kind of like in the movie Us. It collapses from the top down if there's corruption. So if the guy who owns the fucking plant is friends with the judge, and those guys are banging each other behind closed doors, and your fucking court case isn't going to go anywhere, and they're going to keep polluting, and it's all about the dollar.
Sure.
Yep.
So that's why I tend to look for the people that I feel like won't say yes to shit like that. Behind closed doors, they're not going to go, all right, cool, slip me a couple mil, and we'll just
but then
this
the true test of that too is that like when Obama when he gets in the position,
you're right.
Then what are you going to do?
Exactly.
It's easy to be Tulsi Gabbard out here and say that kind of shit, but when it gets to the fan and you get in the office and a bunch of really fucking rich people are in your ear about shit, then
I'll tell you what, man, she's the first female combat veteran to run for president ever.
I wish
and I kind of dig that.
I want her and Yang to team up.
Is Yang the
not in a sexual way.
UBI guy?
He's the UBI guy. Now I like him because he doesn't talk about problems; he talks about solutions.
Also, he sounds like a smart smart fucking guy. Doesn't he seem like he'd be cool to hang out with?
Now, if you are the person who voted for Trump because you want a businessman in the White House, this dude is a million times the businessman this guy is, right? So I like that. I like, the automation is a thing that's going to happen. So we do have to get ahead of it. I like that. I don't like people question where the money comes from.
I like both of those people.
A lot of that money would come from us not blowing up half of the rest of the world,
right?
Which Tulsi is for. So, I feel like she's more
big non-interventionist.
I feel like she's more captivating, and I do honestly, I'm not big into the military, but I do think a military person would have a better chance at knocking Trump out of there. Sure. Because I think Republicans respect that shit a hell of a lot more than
it's true.
That's true.
And I don't think she's afraid of anything. I think she would stand up to him.
I think her charisma and those facts, like war veteran and all that kind of shit. I think she makes a better mouthpiece than Yang does. I don't think Yang is that charismatic yet.
But I think what a cool guy.
I like him too. Yeah. He sells hats on his website that just say math on them.
Fucking awesome, dude.
I was like, this guy's never gonna win.
Dude, I like that. I like the guy. I saw him on Rogan, man, and he was real smart.
It's also funny to me how it's like, we're gonna give everybody, every legal citizen 18 years and older $1,000, and there's people that are like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck do you mean, motherfucker? Let's just allocate these dollars properly. We got plenty of money to blow shit up. We got plenty of money to fucking.
And again, I'm not an economist, but wherever the money comes from, I think there definitely needs to be less of it coming from regime change wars and whatever. And they had Abby Martin on Rogan the other day, and she was talking about, she goes, look, man, here's the thing. She's like, you can say what you want about socialism or what do you want to call socialism, but here's the thing. If you were to just tax all the gambling that they do on Wall Street, then that would pay for a lot of stuff. If you get us out of the occupation of 140 countries, that'd pay for a lot of stuff. And you can argue about how we're going to clean up the water in Flint, Michigan, but you want to talk about bringing a couple bill back into the budget to help people. That'd be an easy way just to not be corrupt.
Breaking up, we talked about these large, giant, the bigger a company gets, the worse it is for everybody else. Really, right. So, break some of these companies up. Like if Amazon's not going to pay any money in tax, break it up into smaller entities that will pay the fucking taxes, And it's just...
And that's sad that that's the direction everything's kind of like you were talking about with the festivals. Everything's moving in that direction where you don't have a ton of... they had a guy talking about that with social media and with phones and the interconnectivity and everything like that. It's moving towards you're going to have 2 or 3 big fucking... there won't be a whole bunch of different movie studios. There's just going to be Netflix.
Yeah.
And there won't be a whole bunch of different online retailers. There's just going to be Amazon.
It's already happening with airlines too.
Yeah.
I think 20 years ago there was 20 years ago there was 20 airlines. Now there's 6.
Yeah. Yeah. And the big fish eat the small fish. And then so there'd be 5 or 6 big things where you can shop from, and your phone's going to tell you which one you're supposed to shop from that day because it listens to you, and then there'll be a trail of just a million independent things, little bitty things, but there's not going to be any medium size stores, and it's weird like that. Imagine thinking of Amazon buying Target and Walmart and everything, and that's just everything's Amazon.
Yeah,
that's the one place you can shop.
Well, the sneaky shit is they wouldn't even rename the shit probably. And like how Live Nation Ticketmaster thing, they don't. It's not called Live Nation Tickets.
Yep, that's an old Amway trick.
Sneak that shit.
Fucking
in there,
Amway used to do that. Amway was after Amway was a door-to-door sales scam in the '60s or whatever. Nobody fucking trusted it, and so they kept buying all this shit, and they called it like DNA, direct nuclear marketing, and blah blah blah, and online resource company, and they
all these weird adjectives that they just list for what the fuck is this place?
And then at the end they go, oh, we're selling soap.
So on that same concept of where I think it's bad to have companies get that big, I think it's also bad to have individuals get that big. I don't see a reason why anyone should have $1 billion. I don't understand why that should be a thing. So salary cap, can we have a salary cap? You know what I mean? If you can have a minimum wage, can we have a maximum wage? Because $1 billion is enough for you and your entire family to live for the rest of your lives without question.
Generationally. You could pass that down to...
Until we're literally in Mad Max. That's enough money until we get to Mad Max. You have enough money to make it to Mad Max, okay? So you're going to be a Morton Joe when we get to Mad Max, So, if you're not using that money to help, maintain the system that got you there, then to me it's just all a fucking waste. It's
and there's a big back and forth argument on that too, which I understand both sides of it. On the one hand, it's well, if somebody has gained all these things, how can you tell somebody that you're only allowed to make so much money? You've got somebody that's a real go getter, then if they're not a corrupt piece of shit, which they usually turn out to be. But if they're not, like, how do you say, well, you can only make, how do you put a cap on that? But then on the other turn, you go, well, the more that capitalism flourishes and the economy flourishes, the people are going to be more charitable. Well, that's that's stressing the buddy system a lot. You know, most of the time when people get that much stuff, they don't want to just give, and of course, a lot of big companies do give a lot of, I think doesn't Bill Gates like do when $3 or $4 billion worth of charity? I mean, I don't know.
When he's not deciding the fate of humanity, he probably does.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I just see, you know, like just during my lifetime, you know, the gap it gets, and you know, the decline of the middle class and the inequality and all that shit. And it's like, I'm just, you know, you can say, oh, well, you shouldn't be able to. Well, it's America. You shouldn't be working 50 hours a week, you know, and not being able to afford an apartment either, you know. So we got to figure out things on both ends, you know.
Exactly.
I don't necessarily think it's too terribly communist of me to think that,
dude, I saw
that Bezos shouldn't have $75 billion fucking dollars laying around.
Yeah, exactly. Well, dude, I saw a guy recently on Rogan. I know I keep talking about Rogan. I watch a lot of good Rogan lately, but they had this guy named Naval, like Ravikant or whatever. He was on there. He's like a Silicon Valley investor, but he's also this super fucking like just. He's this very almost like he's like a yogi or something. He's like this very deep, like he's got all this, like they talk about like the meaning to life and all the great questions. They end up in paradoxes and stuff, you know. But that guy was talking about. They said is there a political bent in Silicon Valley? The guy says absolutely. It's like it's very left leaning. All the technological stuff is very left leaning, and they have the hard sciences on their side. You know, he goes, but the thing is, you don't really talk about that anymore in Silicon Valley because you can't talk about shit like that because you can't be on one side or the other. He goes, but I think, and I thought this is so fucking cool. He goes, I think everybody at one point in their life or another is one of everything. He goes, for instance, with my friends, I'm a total socialist. I want to give my friends everything I got. You can have the last water in the fridge, whatever. If I've got a whole bunch, I'll split it with you.
Yeah.
You know, and then as we move up, like with the people I work with, I'm very, very democratic. Well, I don't know. We all have to share this office. Let's vote on what color curtains are in it. You know, blah, blah, blah. And the 51% can outvote the 49%, and they get over it. And he goes, but then just above that, when I'm talking about the police and the local state legislature, I'm a little Republican about that. I want those people to leave me alone. Cops, stay the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And don't tell me who I can marry and what. And he goes, then at the top level, you know, as you go into like the government and the military, he goes, I'm totally libertarian. I want no interventionist wars, and I want no, you know, blah, very small government in terms of like my taxes. He goes, so I think we're all those things at one stage or another. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's, you know, I said, that's pretty cool. That's definitely, to me, that was real enlightening because it means you don't have to necessarily be polarly on one side or another. You could go, well, yeah, I think that we do need to compromise on that. And then this other thing, you can go, no, that's no excuse for that ever.
Sure, yeah. You know? And the team aspect of politics is very detrimental to things. It should, I mean, issue-based politics is kind of what I'm more into. Like, everybody, let's just focus on this one issue, you know, and
get it
come
done
to a reasonable conclusion.
Yeah, and man, the ones that involve death typically get rolled near the top of the list for me, like the wars. You know what I mean? I get that maybe there's a better way to like fix the roads and stuff. I get that. That's infrastructure is important, but 2,000 guys just died in Afghanistan. You know what I mean? Like, I'm typically attracted to people like Tulsi that talk about that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, I know where we can get some money. We'll sell this fucking pot. Sell some pot in fucking Tennessee, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, dude.
Jesus.
Hopefully it's coming.
I know plenty of people that do it, and they make a ton of money.
Yeah.
Like, Tennessee's one of those states, too, that would be extremely beneficial to do it first and not last.
Yeah.
You know, we touch 8 other states.
Yeah, dude.
You know, you want people coming here to buy the shit, not vice versa.
I know.
So it's always
That's a good point.
odd to me that...
Well, there's the 420 bill now.
In a southern conservative area that's like, you know, don't tell me what to do, government, and we're rebels and all this kind of shit, that pot is somehow super demonized. I think if Republicans took a hold of that issue, they could knock it out of the park.
Yep.
Bill Lee's still sitting here like, well, the research, the science is still out. No, it's not out. It's not, dude.
It's not been out for a long time.
We already know. We
talked
Bill.
about that. We did an episode where we talked about, like, if anybody really still thinks that weed is bad for you, and like they're just not paying attention to the facts, man.
Even still, the science is, you know, not out anyways. Again, the whole other topic, but truly a free country, which it's not, then do whatever the fuck you want, and as long as you don't hurt somebody else,
that's
don't
exactly
go to jail
how I
for
feel.
it.
I feel like the government should be
that's on you to make those choices.
providing you with the information so that you can make a decision for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, as long as you're not hurting other people, I can drink alcohol, but I can't drive while I do it.
Yeah, and just letting them know, like, please don't hurt. You know, and that, you know what? That's a good little patriotic note to wrap up this fucking episode.
For the 4th of July.
For the 4th of July, folks. We hope you enjoyed it very much, Sean. you're the salt of the earth, man. We fucking love
Thanks
you.
for coming by, man.
We're not gonna. Again, we have a lot of people that we've had on the show. We're not ever gonna pick favorites, but if there were like
they're picking favorites,
you were very, very, very in the top.
Do you guys want to go smoke this mystery rock with me after this?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Yeah. Let's go.
Man, if I didn't have somewhere to be.
We're gonna, guys, we're gonna sign off and we're gonna smoke whatever it is that Sean found on the fucking ground at Bonnaroo.
Come back next week. The cure for diabetes.
We're gonna pipe up and we're gonna have our own little fucking fireworks.
Pipe up.
Yeah. All right.
Whoa, gross.
Happy 4th of July, you guys.
Oh.
Oh my.